Today we are going to learn about root systems of plants. By the end of this lesson, what you have to know is to be able to identify the main parts of a plant, identify tap roots and fibrous roots, describe the differences between tap and fibrous roots, classify common plants according to their root systems, and observe real plants and give reasons for their classifications. So who remembers the parts of a plant? What are the four main parts of a plant? The four main parts of a plant are roots, stem, leaves, and flowers. So you have the roots, you have the stem, you have the leaf, and the flower. Let's look at the roots. What are the functions of the roots? What do roots do? So the roots hold or anchor the plant firmly in the soil. So the first thing that a root does is to hold or anchor the plant firmly in the soil. So roots also absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil. So the next thing the root does is to transport the water that has been absorbed and the minerals towards the stem. So roots may store food in some plants. That's one of the functions of the roots. So we have four functions of the roots. It will hold or anchor plant firmly in the soil. It will absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil. It will transport the absorbed water and minerals towards the stem. It may store food in some plants like cassava and sweet potatoes, which have roots that store food. So what is a root system? You know what roots are and what they do. We just learned what the roots do. Know that roots is part of the plant. You have the plant, the roots, the stem, the leaves, the flowers. Those are the parts of the plant or parts of the tree. And we know that the root has certain things that it does. We have seen that. Now, what is a root system? A root system is the entire network of roots of a plant. We have two main groups of root systems. So the name of the first group is called taproot. So this is how a taproot looks like. The next group is called the fibrous root. This is how it looks like. The taproot has one main thick root growing downward from which smaller side roots develop. A taproot system has one main thick root growing downward from which smaller side roots develop. So have you seen the taproot? You see that it has one main root. Have you seen it? And then there are smaller roots which are growing on the side, the left and right. Have you seen it? That is what we call a taproot. A fibrous root system consists of many thin roots of approximately similar size growing from the base to the stem. Have you seen how the fibrous root looks like? It has small roots together. Instead of one big root with small roots on the side, you see that they are all small put together. Have you seen it? Have you seen the difference? Good. So unlike a taproot, there is no single large main root. Now, examples of plants that have taproots are bean, Can you see the bean? Mango. Have you seen the mango root? Carrot. Have you seen the carrot root? Pawpaw. Now let's look at some of the plants that also have fibrous roots. Can you name them? So some of the plants that have fibrous roots are grass, maize, rice, and onion. Taproot versus fibrous roots. Let's look at the differences between taproot and fibrous root. When you look at the main roots of the two different types of root systems, you realize that the taproot has one main large root, but the fibrous root has no distinct main roots. Rather, it has small roots that come together. Now let's look at the root size. The taproot has the main root larger than side roots. The taproot has a larger main root than the side roots. But the fibrous roots are approximately similar in size. That means that for the fibrous roots, the roots are almost the same. They are small, and they are many, and they are together. As compared to the taproot, which has one main root and other smaller roots by the side. Now let's look at direction. When it comes to the taproot, you realize that the main root grows deep into the soil. Did you see that? When you take direction, you realize that the main root usually grows deep into the soil. However, when you look at the fibrous roots, the roots are generally spread through the upper soil. Did you see that in the picture? When it comes to direction, the main root of the taproot grows deep into the soil. But when it comes to the fibrous root, you would realize that the roots are generally spread throughout the upper soil. Now let's look at appearance. You will see that the taproot has a thick central root with smaller branches. But when you come to the fibrous root, you realize that it has many thin roots forming a cluster. So some of the examples of a taproot is beans, mango, carrot, and pawpaw. And then the fibrous root, you have grass, maize, rice, and onion. Now let's look at some of the differences based on the plant. So if you look at beans, you will see that it has one main root with smaller side roots. And that tells you that it is a taproot. It comes from the taproot system. You understand? When you take mango, you realize that the mango also has one main root in a young seedling. That one is also a taproot. But when you take grass, you realize that the grass has many thin roots. And because it has many thin roots, it makes it a fibrous root. Similarly, when you take maize, you realize that maize also has roots of a similar size, and that also makes it a fibrous root. So what you need to remember is that taproot means one main root. Taproot always refers to a root that has one main root, but fibrous roots refers to the root that has many similar roots. So you can look at the example there, where you can see in the diagram A is a taproot, and then B is a fibrous root. And you can see the different parts have been labeled. So let's take a quiz. See you next time. Bye-bye.